What's up guys, I'm BTC. The latest patch brought with it not just new items and a new map, but also some really huge nerfs to Brigitta and Hanzo, as well as some buffs to Ana. Some of these balance changes are a little iffy, and I'm not really sure it's going to do what Blizzard hopes it's going to do. The first character we're going to look at is Ana. For her normal attacks, the projectiles will now pass through allies with full health. Ammo was increased from 10 to 14, and the developer comments, these changes should help Ana when she's trying to land clutch heals in the middle of a big fight. Allies that do not need healing will no longer potentially block shots meant for teammates that do need it. Increasing her magazine size makes it less likely that Ana will be forced into reloading in the middle of an important fight. Now, I don't think these changes are going to be what brings Ana back. In fact, I don't think the healing potential of the character is going to really bring her back. It's the anti-heal that she has. Right now, one of the biggest things in the game is the Zarya-Hanzo combo, and it happens a lot because Hanzo can get his ult charge way faster now. And one of the biggest defenses against this, and one of the most commonly played supports, is Zenyatta. So you wait for that Zarya grab, and then the Zenyatta ults, and he basically keeps his whole team alive through the combo. But if you now have an Ana, she can throw the anti, and it basically cancels out almost the entire effect of the Zenyatta Transcendence. Obviously, Zenyatta will still live through it, but everybody else is going to get taken out. So I think if there's a resurgence of Ana, it's going to be for that, not necessarily for these changes, but these changes definitely make Ana a better character overall. Next up is Brigitta. She's getting some nerfs. Her ultimate rally, the maximum armor per player reduced from 150 to 100, and the shield bash cooldown increased from 5 to 6 seconds. Developer comments, Brigitta's ultimate is very powerful, especially when it's placed on an entire team. This change will reduce the maximum armor value of Rally, but does not reduce the overall amount of armor given by the ability over its duration. This means when used in combat while her allies are taking damage, it should feel about the same, but the lingering effects of the armor should have less of an impact. Her shield bash is a very strong ability on a fairly short cooldown, making it difficult for her opponents to play around. Increasing this cooldown allows for more options when battling against her. So here's the problem. When Brigitta got released, everyone was screaming the sky was falling and she's going to be the most overpowered thing ever, except that wasn't the case. She had a very high pick rate in the beginning just because it was a new character, but as we saw in the Overwatch League, her pick rate is fairly low. It's around 35%. And as far as the competitive ladder goes, the upper bracket, Diamond Master and Grandmaster, Brigitta's pick rate is now dropping. Why is she not being used in the Overwatch League, and why is her pick rate dropping in the ladder? Well, the reason is because it's actually fairly easy to counter her. People thought she was going to be just this overwhelming force, and it's just not the case. They're finding out at the higher brackets that it's actually pretty easy to just either avoid her or to out-damage whatever she can do. So lots of Pharah, lots of Junkrat, that sort of deal. Now, the lower bracket is having problems with Brigitta for a lot of the same reason that they have problems with characters like Symmetra and Bastion. It's these characters kind of punish bad play. So bad mechanics, bad game sense, and bad cooperation is going to be punished by characters like Brigitta, and that's why she's being so strong. Now, as far as these specific nerfs go, a lot of times people tend to use the rally before a fight or at the end of a fight, and they usually end up wasting most of the ultimate anyways. And a lot of times you hear them, well, it's permanent armor. Yeah, but you're losing a huge amount of it. Before, it was 150, so you would only lose half, but now because you can only build up that extra 100, now you're going to lose, 66% basically of your 2/3 of the ult. So it's a massive waste. So what you're going to want to do with the rally is now, as soon as the fight starts, that's when you use it. Or maybe like a second or two before the fight starts, you use it. So you can build your team's armor up, and then as soon as they start taking damage, it'll get replenished by the rally as it goes on. Now, as far as the shield bash goes, I'm going to put it very simply. If you're consistently getting hit by the shield bash, it's because your positioning is bad. Brigitta is a very short-range character. If you're close enough where she can hit you, then it's your fault for being in the wrong position. Unless you're playing a Reinhardt, in which case you're supposed to be there and you're supposed to take the hit, but your team is supposed to be backing you up. Now, if they're not backing you up, then you need to address that with them and get them to fix it, or you need to switch off and do something else because your team isn't being cooperative. But both of these changes really aren't going to do much. The thing is, she's still going to be powerful in the lower brackets for the reasons that I've mentioned before, and we're going to continue to see her drop off more and more and more in the upper bracket and in the Overwatch League. Next up is Hanzo. This is a very simple change, but it's going to have a huge impact. So Storm Arrows, damage reduced from 80 to 70. Developer comments, Hanzo's Storm Arrows are doing too much damage considering his other changes, such as lunge and projectile speed. This damage reduction will give Hanzo's enemies a more reasonable chance to react and fight against him while using Storm Arrows. So just to be clear, this is the damage for the Storm Arrow ability only. It's not his normal attack. That has been unchanged. So the problem with these Storm Arrows was if you were getting damage boosted by a Mercy, then you could one-shot anyone with 200 health or less. So that means Hanzo could burn the Storm Arrow ability, which is on a relatively low cooldown, only 8 seconds, and then you could just one-shot everyone really, really fast. Now, I know people say, well, Widowmaker can do the same thing, but there's just no comparison because the fire rate for Hanzo in the Storm Arrow was just unbelievably fast. So there was just no competing against it. And also, this is going to make it so that he can't just one-shot a Tracer as well when he's not being damage boosted. If he's just normal using the Storm Arrows, it's only going to do 140, and she has 150, which means if she gets hit, she's going to be able to rewind and take that health back. So this is a huge change, but it's mainly going to make it so that it's not as frustrating. He's still going to be putting out a tremendous amount of damage. He's still going to get his ult quite often, although not as much now because of the damage reduction. It's mainly going to make it so that he can't one-shot people as often as he was before. So that is going to be the really big impact here, is that now when you get hit, you have a chance to get healed, you have a chance to get cover, you have a chance to fight back, all those different things. So that is the major impact of all of this. Hanzo is still going to be super popular. He's still going to be the best mid to long range damage DPS in the entire game. That's not going to change it. It just means it's a little less frustrating. So those are the three major changes. For the amount of playtime these characters are going to have, I expect to see Ana go up a little bit. Brigitta is going to continue to decline in the upper bracket and Overwatch League, although I think she's still going to be a problem in the lower bracket for the reasons that I mentioned. And then Hanzo, his pick rate is probably going to be the same. I mean, this is definitely a nerf to him, but he's still going to be unbelievably powerful. What do you guys think about these changes? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my Discord server. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter. The links for that stuff are down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.